somebody to hug him.
Yeah, he does. He does.
Need some love, man. He just needs a good husband. That's right, good husband to love him. Make sure nobody run him over though, man.
No, I got you.
All right, man. I ain't got it right now, bro. I'm sorry. So in today's video, we're going to look at the nightlife in downtown Sarasota at 2 in the morning on a Friday night. And we're also going to see some of the Uber passengers that I've had recently in the Sarasota area. Notice how this passenger checked the other passenger regarding the GoPro camera that I have facing the passengers. As soon as she started talking to me, you'd be surprised how differently people act when they know that their behavior is being recorded. When it's not being recorded, people tend to get a little out of hand. All right, guys, we're in downtown Sarasota. It's 2:22 in the morning. So it's 2:22 downtown Sarasota. Just gonna go for a little walk and see the nightlife at almost 2:30 in the morning. Almost 2:30 in the morning. Downtown Sarasota.
All right.
See what type of vibe we got going on. 2:30 in the morning. I love how people think they're gangster because they discovered an undercover police officer. They notice my GoPro camera, which is for a YouTube video, and they're like, oh man, you see the police, dog? And they're like, oh man, you slick, man, you found the cops, man, you on point. Well, actually, yeah, you're not as smart as you think you are, and you're definitely not as slick as you think you are. It happens to be a YouTuber recording a YouTube video of downtown Sarasota. Let's not ignore the fact that you're in downtown Sarasota where there's cops everywhere regardless.
Wonderful night, brother. I'll see you again. I'll see you.
So one of the craziest things about this area is the amount of panhandlers and how aggressive they can get, especially late at night. And some of my Uber passengers that I had from Iowa, they noticed how aggressive panhandlers are in this area. And it's off-putting to people when they come to Florida and they realize that here, not only there are panhandlers just about everywhere you go, but also how aggressive the panhandlers are. And you'll see through tonight's video that if you're out late at night, you're constantly being bombarded by panhandlers asking for money, many times in a very aggressive fashion. A lot of these people are even scammers. They're not really as bad off as they portray to be. They're mostly just trying to get their fix. But anyways, it kind of sucks that you're trying to enjoy a nice evening out, and you got these individuals constantly asking you for money in very intrusive ways. And again, it's even worse when you're not on camera, because when you are on camera, there's that little filter that maybe you shouldn't act a complete fool. But even if I was an undercover cop, you'll notice there's cops everywhere in downtown Sarasota. So what's the big thing about me having a GoPro and be like, oh man, the police, dog, look at the police, dog. And the most hilarious thing is how they act like they're slick, like they feel like invigorated by the fact that they were slick enough to discover I was an undercover. Hot dog smells so freaking good. But this late at night to eat a hot dog, man, the hot dogs smell incredible. I just can't eat a hot dog this late at night. Really can't. And then they always say it loud enough to where it's from earshot, to where if you were concerned about law enforcement, wouldn't you want to conceal the fact that you're concerned about it? Kind of a more aggressive vibe than usual.
You know what? Let me try it.
Oh, this truck's just like mine. Truck's just like mine. I got scared for a minute, like they stole my truck. Like it's the same color as my truck. There's like a smell in the air. Like, it smells like flowers. Smells like congri or flowers. Smells like flower congris.
Hey, I fuck with that. Is it live?
Yeah, no, it's not live, man. Anyway,
That's hard.
yeah, Southern Life on YouTube.
Southern Life, what
Yeah.
you doing?
Just all types of stuff like nightlife, travel, all that. Have fun, bro.
I'm at the point where I'm like, no.
And I had 2 Bud Lights, right? Trying to keep it easy. I just went there and Vamos caminando, señores, caminando.
Excuse me, sir.
What are they called?
Kind of hard to tell, but if you look on the left side of that sidewalk, you'll see a guy and a girl there, and they're definitely engaging in some interesting activity. Looks like perhaps she's doing some twerking move with her hands on the ground, and literally less than 100 feet from a police car. I'm sure that's an arrestable offense right there. In fact, you could almost say I caught them with their pants down, except for they're fully clothed, but it's very clear what they were doing. Again, 100 feet from a police car, just a block away from downtown Sarasota. The things you see out here at night really are incredible, and unfortunately, some of the most interesting things that happened on this evening were not caught on video. So I'm going to relate to you guys some of the things that have been happening that were not caught on video.
I think I'm stuck in the maze.
Okay. So I picked up these 2 young girls who told me they were cousins, but they must have been cousins from Alabama. Without getting too much into detail, I think that pretty much describes the ordeal of what they were engaging in. And keep in mind that some of the most raw and crazy behavior that you're going to see while Uber driving is a lot of times going to be off camera. When they see the GoPro, they really tone down their behavior. Sometimes if I feel unsafe, I'll turn on the GoPro for my safety. Other times, if I think they're just being wacky, I'll let them do what they're doing as long as I don't feel like my safety is compromised. And if you were wondering what that stain was on the ground, it probably was exactly what you thought it was. See, it turns out that in Sarasota, downtown, I've recorded more than once before how people like to defecate on the sidewalks. I'm going to guess it's mostly homeless people somewhere around 3, 4 in the morning when there's nobody around, when everybody leaves. But yes, you do have to be careful where you step in downtown Sarasota. This herb now smells like congre, man. I ain't got it right now. I'm sorry, but have a good night. Yeah, I know, man. Now, I really don't know this particular lady's story, but she's always in downtown Sarasota, and she always aggressively panhandles. Now, again, I don't know what her personal story is. Maybe someday I should try to get her story, but I do talk to the homeless people. Now, I help homeless people all the time. You guys have seen my videos, and I do a lot of stuff off camera as well. And what I do with the homeless people is I just give them food and things they need. And with people that ask me for stuff, I rarely give them anything. The ones that ask me for stuff, if I have food, I'll offer them food. And many times they're not interested in food. They tell you they want money. So I don't know this particular lady's story, so I can't really assume anything. But I do talk to the homeless people in the area, and I work with the homeless people a lot. And they tell me who the scammers are. These are individuals who panhandle in Bradenton, for example, who everybody thinks they're homeless because they're always working the same corner. These individuals are actually not homeless. They're actually not even disabled. They just pretend to be disabled in order to get some sympathy, compassion from people. And there's one individual who I'm actually considering busting this guy because he works the corner consistently, and the homeless people tell me that he has an apartment, and he's actually not homeless, but he has a very sympathetic story if you see him on the side of the road. A lot of times, too, those are the individuals that, when I ask them if they want to do an interview to talk about their life story, they're reluctant to want to talk to me because they're not really homeless. They don't have a story. They're just out there scamming, so they don't want to perpetrate. Now, I've interviewed over probably about 150 homeless people already. I'm not sure how many I've interviewed, probably for sure over 100. And among those homeless people that I've interviewed, there are some who I suspect are full of crap. They're actually not even homeless. They're scammers. Once again, if you look on the sidewalks, you'll see the people do defecate in downtown Sarasota. And it isn't just one or two little spots. It's all over downtown Sarasota. But regardless, my point being that I have interviewed a few of those homeless people that are, interviews that are on my channel that I suspect the people were actually full of crap. Now, I don't have evidence of it, but my gut instinct tells me that I've interviewed maybe 3 people who told me their story, told me they were homeless on the streets. We interviewed them. But in the back of my mind, my gut feeling's telling me these people are actually scammers. They're not really true. Now, on today's video, if you want to mention some of those people that you think were scammers, hey, that's your personal opinion. I'm personally not going to do it because this is my job, and I'm not going to interview somebody and then turn around and bite them in the back. I can't do that. But if you personally have had your questions about an individual and whether they're actually homeless or not, or they're scamming, well, you're welcome. I should have took that ride. It would have taken me back towards Lakewood Ranch. I should have really taken that ride. In fact, I ended up taking that ride later on in the day. I think I took that ride eventually. I did. There it is. Okay, I took that ride. And those people actually gave me a $10 tip. So it actually came out to $37. So thank that person very much. On this evening, most people tipped me very well. I think I got $40 in tips. So it brought the evening total to just under $150 for maybe 6 hours, maybe 5 or 6 hours of driving. So it's starting to pick up a little bit on the Uber because people are starting to come back in for snowbird season, which is desperately needed right about now. Trying to get people to keep it moving. I'm not feeling this vibe out here. It's way too aggressive.
I got that wine.
Finally got a cool evening. First cool evening in a while. So I'll tell you guys a story about a previous evening where I was scammed this week. Now, this was on Tuesday night, I believe. And by the way, as I'm recording this video, less than a mile away, just to the north of us, a shooting take place between Sarasota and Bradenton in a little neighborhood behind the airport. It's kind of hot. But anyways, on this particular evening, 3 nights ago, I got scammed. So I had a passenger. It was like literally, the airport in Sarasota is either like this, completely dead, or it is completely packed. And I mean like all 4 lanes full of cars. There's either completely dead or completely packed. There's never ever like a middle ground here. It's like 5 flights will arrive and the whole thing is flooded, and then 5 minutes later it's empty. So you have a very narrow window to get your passengers when 3 or 4 flights land at about the same time. And that's what happened on Tuesday evening. And this video is filmed right after I got scammed. So like 3 or 4 flights landed all together. Some were from Newark, some were from Charlotte, North Carolina. One was from Atlanta. Now, I had a client, we could call them, who ordered a ride about 2 minutes south of the airport. Now, I'm at the airport lot, which is right in front of us to the left, and I'm sitting there waiting for my ride. Now, there's a $12 surge. That means that if you catch a passenger during that time period, you get $12 extra. But again, it's a very narrow window. I was waiting in line for 27 minutes to catch my $12 surge. And somebody who was at the airport by the name of Tiffany, I'm going to guess she was from Charlotte, North Carolina, bless her heart. Charlotte bites me in the butt once again, even though I'm not even there. She decides that she's going to order the ride about a minute south of where we are right now in some of the hotels over there, because those hotels are not in the surge area. So she figured, as I'm driving from the airport lot to the hotel, she texts me, "Hey, I'm actually at the airport." So she tried to scam me out of my $12. Well, in the time I drove away from the lot to the hotel, saw her text, tried to get back to her, tried to cancel the ride, I lost my $12 surge. So this is a scam that happens from time to time where she's at the airport, but she's going to order the Uber somewhere near the airport. And as I'm driving there, she's going to say, "Hey, I'm actually over here, not over there." But where she's at is several minutes away from where she's sending me, which means that now I'm going to go pick her up technically outside of the surge area. And when you do that, you lose your surge. So this person thought that they were going to scam me out of $12, and I was still going to let them get in my car. Let me tell you, if you scam me out of $12, you're not getting in my car. So I decided to do the most wholesome thing and waste her time as well. I sat there and wasted 7 or 8 minutes of her time and literally had to cancel the ride, which brought my Uber, what do you call this thing? Your cancellation rate up. So this is something that hurts me. Now, looking back on what I should have done, I should have driven to the hotel and parked at the hotel and waited there and canceled the ride, and she would have lost her money. The problem with doing that is that if I did that, I would have lost my $12 surge. Unfortunately, I still ended up losing my $12 surge. And the saddest thing about it is I lost my 27 minutes waiting in line plus my $12 surge. And then I couldn't get another passenger for another 15 minutes by the airport because the surge was over. So this person literally wasted, here's the airport waiting lot right here on the left. This person literally wasted about 45 minutes of my life trying to scam me out of $12. So whoever you are, Tiffany, I hope you become a better person, because you're a piece of crap right now. And most of the time you're not going to get scammed at the airport, but every once in a while you get a Tiffany from Charlotte, North Carolina, who decides that she's going to try to scam an Uber driver out of $12. Now, I am not, I know it goes against my cancellation rate. It's really not good for me to do that, but I am not going to, I mean, the notion that you're going to scam me out of $12 and then, right, after you scam me out of $12, think you're going to get in my car? I don't think so. It could have been the Atlanta flight, could have been the New Jersey flight, but I'm almost certain it was the Charlotte flight, which has been the most problematic flights that I got. And then the passenger after them also pulled a scam, and they, I think, were also from Charlotte flight. They told me they were from the New Jersey flight, but I do suspect they were from Charlotte. They also pulled a similar scam, which I'm not going to divulge this scam because it's less common, and it's also a way to defraud the driver. So basically, here comes 3 or 4 flights. There's a bunch of people who need Uber rides. Uber rides are scarce, and you had 2 people who purposely wasted my time, okay? So here's this huge surge at the airport. People need rides out of the airport. And you got 2 individuals that came off the same flight who pulled different scams to try to cheat the system. All the while, people need these Uber rides. So if you've ever been at the airport and had to wait for 35, 40 minutes for an Uber driver, there's people getting off that same flight that you are getting off at who are purposely making it worse by trying to scam the system, wasting the driver's time, ensuring that they can't get to other people as quickly. Same flight, 2 different types of scams. The second scam, I'm not going to tell you guys about it because I don't want to teach you guys how to do things the wrong way. But basically, they wasted a lot of my time. And when I got back to the lot, I had to wait there for a while again, even though people needed the service. Based on today's video, would you venture to say that people in Sarasota behave shamefully? It's like they have no morals and they're bold. They're willing to do all types of shady stuff without caring for other people. There seems to be a lot of entitlement here and a lot of people who think that they can do whatever they want, waste other people's time, disrespect other people. And there's just a level of bad behavior in this area. And it's actually the conversation piece for a lot of my Uber passengers who are visiting from other places. They tell me how disgusted they feel with the behavior of some of the people here. But then I remind those people that when I go to where they live, and I've been to where they live, there's a lot of things about where they live that are embarrassing as well, of a different nature. So everywhere has its ups and its downs. But on today's video, we're talking about some of the downsides of the Sarasota area. A lot of people that act kind of shameful. But for the most part, everybody out there goes to have a good time, and it's a very safe city to do so. And the antics of some individuals when they drink are fun, interesting. I'll tell you guys one last story of an individual who, again, is off camera. This individual had a girl in the backseat. I picked him up in a bar in South Sarasota, and he managed to get somewhere between 2nd to 3rd base. I'm pretty sure there was a brawl that came undone and was swinging around in the backseat of my car while I drove them on a 5-minute Uber ride. They made their specific request for a song, and individuals like that, you know, their behavior is wacky, or the guy that fell on the ground, his buddy slapped him or whatever, stuff like that are antics that are somewhat interesting or amusing and practically harmless. So with stuff like that, you know, I don't get in the way of people having a good time. If that's the way they enjoy themselves, who am I to judge? I'm just there to contribute by being their Uber driver or their YouTuber for the day. But at the end of the day, there are interesting antics that come along with people's wacky behavior, but there are some things that are borderline sketchy, if not outright wrong. Let me hear your thoughts and opinions on the comments. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I did pull in nearly $150 in under 6 hours, and that's an accomplishment. It means we're starting to move towards the season, the end of the dead season and the start of the snowbird season, which the locals heavily depend on.